I wanted to start out this video showing you so far today. I don't even believe we've made it to around 1 o'clock yet, p.m. Central Standard Time. But since the very beginning hours of 11:10, and with that CME blowing out basically the honeycomb inside of the sun, we have this eternal, basically like a blaze that's coming out of Sagittarius and Capricorn right there, and it's blasting a ton of plasma right here. When you're watching the LASCO move, you can see, I think you can see it right here. This is just like that. If you didn't watch the video yesterday and the one right before this, the live, this is really going to be a piggyback of what I did early this morning, because more information's coming in, and I can't even describe. I'm probably cry on this video. I can't even describe in what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing. And what I'm being shown is why we were chosen, why we were placed here, why we've all lived and had to go through such tremendous tests and toils as we were ahead of the human race. And I might not show my face on here again like I did before, just because I'm changing, and I really don't understand. What does somebody have to do down here to prove that they're the earth and Gaia, to get some help for the human race? You know, I don't know if y'all think that I just have a lot of ego or something, but I'm not taking it anymore. My whole existence, my entire existence as a being, and I'm really old. I've proven it. I've proven it with the knowledge I come on here and I share everyone freely for the past 5 or 6 years. I've proved it with knowing what's coming next. I've proved it with the fact that all of y'all are still alive. I have proved it with the amount of attacks that have come for me. I've proved it. I even set up GAIA technology that was stolen from me in November of 2013. I was the one that was sacrificed by 5 beings and had to escape all these death houses. I proved Saint Sarah. My chart shows it. If you know anything about astrology and you look at my chart, you very are well aware of who the fuck I was. Why do you think they knew to come after me? Now, I'm upset right now because this has nothing to do with me. We're on the day 2 of a 3-day. And this rock that we're on, that you used to call Earth, is blowing from the inside out. And I know we know it. We all feel it. We can't describe exactly what it is that's going to happen. We don't know. We don't even want to know. We've ignored it to the point where Nobody even gives a shit about who Gaia is anymore. It's like, does everyone realize that you came back here to rescue a being, and the being is attempting to lead everybody out of this, and nobody wants to fucking come along? I'm done pushing a rock up a hill. I'm done coming on and having to train. Do you know? Do you have any idea what the life of an ascended has been like for the past 7 years? You think we weren't working? Oh no, we haven't had a break. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, running 5 different timelines in our head, trying to map out what the fuck is going on down here in order to fix it. And then whenever we got the tools to fix it, we had to live it. And then that's when the human race turned on us. And I'm speaking for the 144. And I'm speaking for Gaia. Because I'm fucking her! Do you not care? I'm beyond. Oh, sure. That woman doesn't need any protection. She doesn't need any help. Sure. We'll just let India keep trying to wrangle her timelines, cut in her telephone. You know, I don't even have a telecom line right now. That should tell you something about your phones. The magma in the core is building. The 3 chambers and what you called Iceland, which used to be Greenland, which is nothing but a Valhalla spell. I come on here last night and I was talking to y'all about, you know, the etherics of this and being pulled onto Mars. But hear what I'm telling you. Those of us seeds that work up the network of what used to be your planet died in 2017. Let me say it again. Tara, Sarah, Gaia, the entity, the snake, and what upsets me the most, is the demonization that's gone on down here to all of us feminines. Because of rhetoric and phonetic spells, and I mean, it is the only reason that this has gone on an extra 700 years, which is an extra 7,000 years. It keeps coming up and to come on here and talk about ritualistic sacrifices. And it's why I'm on here right now. The original sacrifice for your earth, your Leah Fail. The Irish woman and the baby. It's how your earth was originally manifest. It's why earth was called your heart. It's why Ireland had such a stronghold on the world for so long. But Ireland's just what we know of it now and what we call it now. But everything down here since the beginning of time and still to this day and now more than ever all comes from an intention and a transmutation of some sort. even your turkey and the whole thing with turkey and Thanksgiving and how the Indians just, the turkey appeared. Well, that was a princess that was sacrificed. So the Indians actually didn't just give the settlers a bird to eat. What they gave it was a bird that was the land. But it even wasn't theirs to give when it happened. But it was allowed because it wasn't time yet. I know that it's hard to meet me, and I know it's hard to wrap your head around to even understand why I know and can see and do the things that I can do and that I have over here with all of you. But imagine being me, because I didn't even know. Imagine being the one that was stuck down here for so long and all of you coming to save me. And then imagine being the one that could have got out a long time ago, but stayed behind to make sure that everybody that came to get me out got out. Which is where your Christ and that whole story comes from. Imagine then, after you get everybody out, they decide they like being free and they'll just keep you in there, and then the ones that you helped escape are the ones that bound you back in. And then imagine being the one that had to pull the trigger to make sure it couldn't happen again, no matter what. Imagine being the one that everyone's hunted and lied about, saying that we were going to blow up the world and that we were evil and that we were the devil and that we were ISIS and cancer and the whole time for us, knowing that the true one that everyone's screaming at is just the one that was holding power over us. And it set up this monster of a game in order for it to keep perpetuating for power, greed, and control. Knowing that we can heal the world, knowing that there is no disease, knowing the truth of how physics works with the human body. And then all of us being the ones for the past 4 to 5 years that were sacrificed in a ritual again, and having to live through it, and then having to outsmart it from high white physics to not dirty our hands in order to make sure that we didn't end up in karma and buried again. Because if it would have happened again, none of us would have lived, because we weren't even in a processing system like we used to be. Whenever a ritual of a sacrifice is done to you, and I need everyone to understand that the healing that you've been doing, and if you're from an Irish line, if you have Tudor in your blood, Tudor is a man-made name. It is 2 doors. It literally means 2 doors. You have 2 doors. If you're a Tudor. Took a long time to make that line. A really long time. If we look back to Yahshua's sister, which nobody even knows about, which is my point. And Sarah Damaris, and then her husband on paper, Persquirrel Alexander, pre-Merovingian, before the Moravian kings. All written in after death. All being the source. Everyone talks about Dimitri and Nana. They talk about these characters as if they know them. They talk about and want to justify and blame, but you really have no idea unless you're in the line. What it's like to be the earth. What it's like to not be seen or heard. What it's like to have to spread consciousness and spread your love and spread your knowledge and spread energy out into the entire universe in prayer that someone's going to hear something and come and assist you. Is why you all came here. Unless you's down here with me over time being done rituals because you was in the line from it. Attached to somebody that was that ended up being just an equinox baby, which means we's just being born down here. You didn't have no damn parents. You's being born of the earth. You're a child of the earth. This is how long this has been going on. It's been going on so long that the universe created its own birthing process. It's been going on so long that what you'd consider in our earthling bodies, your kings and your queens and your God and your whatever, has been making babies on the other side, and it's been going on so long that there's even shoots and ways for us to pop up down here, just up here. Each one attached to Earth. Every DNA line in the most ancient that you are, you were attached to every single being down here. All of you that hold a lot of Cancer energy, this is why you're an empath. This is why whenever you clear your energy, you usually lose about 50 or 60 pounds. You're like a whale out in the ocean, channeling and feeling every emotion of the ocean of every being that is here on this planet. It's pure hell. But it is where we were sent. We were sacrificed in a spiritual ritual. There's not enough information out there about what really was happening in a vector when people did sacrifices, and what you really did if you did sacrifice. And there ain't no being down here. There ain't one. And there ain't one family line that wasn't involved in this. And there ain't nobody walking this planet that hasn't sinned up to their fucking neck. Nobody down here. Not one fucking being deserves to walk around like their shit don't stink, and that they're so holier than thou, and that they are a savior, or they're this and this and that, because it's bullshit. I'm talking about the beings that are your earth, and I'm talking about full-blown ascension, and I'm talking about the fact that the core of this earth is blowing, and that this is a mass extinction event. And you're over here, and you happen to find me, and I'm the leader of the 144,000 because I's your earth. I's your Gaia. I am Venus, which is how I could be your Gaia. Because then it already got to the point, Venus's oversoul came in. Why do you think I ended up getting activated like this? 2020, it wasn't just me. 2017, it wasn't just me that got shock activated like this. I'm just the one that was written to come and tell the world about it. I'm the one that had all the knowledge in astronomy and able to come and speak for a group of us. And the rest of them went and buried in their little holes. Or started working with factions. Every single one of your queens, every single one of them. You know, everybody gets so upset about Queen Elizabeth and she's a lizard and da 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 da. You know that the human race turned her into that, right? And this is, I'm so sick. I'm so sick of hearing. I'm so sick of hearing and watching everybody talk about Draco like they fucking know. I mean, that's like turning around and saying all black people are crooks and burglars and all white people are reptilians. I mean, it's fucking ignorant. You're in a hybridized lab down here. Everybody was dead. Your human DNA was mixed with fucking animals in the end. This is the end of days. You weren't even where we thought we were in an earthly plane. You knew and you know that they've been getting us to Mars and all these different things and the whole collapse of society that's happening. It's because the membrane that used to be your earth that is holding this together, and then the membrane that used to be your Venus is no longer connected to it, and it's no longer connected to the human race. And that means that basically the skeleton and the bones of the earth and the Venus have vanished. As if a deboned fish. The infrastructure has been, the halls and the connections have literally disappeared. And there ain't nothing holding this all together but consciousness and a group of ascended beings and a new bloodline that is made and birthed through millions of years of pain and anguish and distress and attacks from the very beings that you made and saved for no reason. For no reason except nobody else wants to have to do it. It's the only reason that my family line was hunted. I mean, I'm 51 years old right now, and I'm the oldest one that ever made it this far in my bloodline. Is why you don't know who I am. It's why you have a King Charles sitting up there pretending to be a king on a Cocker Spaniel. It's why you don't have any knowledge of any of the queens and everything that's happened down here. You don't even know what a princess is anymore. The ones from the dark side do. They know all about it. Your princesses, your queens, your tutors, the ones that were laid here and attached to the lines that make Earth. You are Earth, and you were Earth, and you're Venus, and your body makes land. It doesn't just manifest stuff. It doesn't just manifest a lover. It doesn't just manifest, are you a dryad? I don't know what that word means, but I'm definitely a druid. It's what it all was. It's more like the druids. It's more like I laid it's more like I laid the maps for the druids. It's more like I communicated with the druids. It's more like our lines made the druids, and that's how they could speak our language. It's a good question. It's like we speak to the druids. This goes back to the Toltecs and my son, who's a double simian. He understands that in this timeline, I'm an AB negative. I don't know what my blood type is now. Who knows? If it'd even register. But I had artificial insemination. I had to have a baby. I knew it. And lo and behold, he's an O positive. Well, understand, in order for an AB negative to make an O positive, number one, he's made in a lab. Number two, a South African doctor was there giving me extra stuff in IVs to make it happen. And number three, in order for him to be born, I had to have pure mercury pumped through my body for 3 days. Pure mercury. I turned green. And you want to ask why? Well, it's because an O positive blood is so low frequency that an AB negative can't really even have an O positive baby without skipping through dimensions. And his birth and the whole thing and how it went down and what was going on literally describes what I just said. That's whenever they knew in 2008 that if you put mercury inside vaccines, you give high frequency beings mercury, that it's going to drop them to a lower Mar type dimension, water, womb even. Being in the womb is like being in a field. So it's almost like what I'm seeing is that the whole earth plane was turned into a giant womb, which makes sense because this was a 1,000,000-year birthing process. This is long periods of time and time counts that all of us down here forgot about, but that, thank God, some of us were made with timers. And in 2017, May, is whenever your doomsday seeds, which I was one of them, timer went off. And all at once, it's like every single recessive gene in the human race that had been blocked, every single line of communication through all etherics that had been stopped, blocked, severed, came back to our group all at once. And that was 6 years ago. Working on 7. All of the ancient stories, the light language, the ability to manipulate time and space is all connected into one giant energetic field that now in this new bloodline, in this new race, what we mainly did was pull out the need for a sacrifice. This goes back to Enoch and Enlil and that whole thing, because we walked every single fucking bit of it. And I don't even have a problem walking it, because it's who I was. And I'm grateful to understand my gifts, like all of you are grateful for your gifts and your powers and your ability to even be conscious and know what's going on right now. Because if you didn't, can you imagine how frightened you'd be? And that's what upsets me. All because the right ones of us that were made by the government and housed by the government and chambered by the government and that used us in order to make your Mars simulation, that were using us in order to keep you trapped in a matrix, but then the entire time blaming us, having the world blame us, which is even worse, because whenever you're an ancient, the only way that you even reappear correctly is because people remember you and your name is being told over time. That is why our mummies were defaced. It's why they went and found all of the burials. It's why every war was fought in order to find your mummies, to find the artifacts that actually do make the energy, and to utilize them on one giant ritualistic spell again and again and again to keep the entire human race in a fog, to dumb down the human race and the myrrh frequency so that you don't connect, so that you can't get out, so that you don't have an internal voice, so that you can't hear God, so that you become lost. And this is a soul ascension. There ain't nobody you can do it for you. And I'm upset just because why am I over here not speaking to the world? Why don't I have the resources right now, or even a microphone with enough beings in order to start holding rallies, in order to know what part of the land that we need to be on, to make a big circle? See, we did all this for 4 or 5 years, and since nobody was supporting us, every time we went somewhere, we got spell work done on us. Everywhere that we went in order to raise the vibration, in order to attempt to start this brand, everywhere we went, every fucking time we'd get there, we'd be there 2 or 3 weeks, and I'd have one place to stay because the whole world's snaring at me. We'd raise the frequency, we'd heal the people in the house, we'd heal the people all around, because it's how it works. We'd get to a point finally where we could start cooking it. And they'd do spell work, kick me out, have me attacked, try to kill me. Every time. And the only reason that they were able to get away with it is because I didn't have enough support. The only reason that they were getting away with it is because I didn't have one masculine standing by my side attempting to help me. It was all women this entire time that had band together, and even the men that came into our groups, which were only 2, ended up being ops. It doesn't take much, but it takes something. I mean, for beings like us, what do you want us to do right now? Go get a job? You're on Mars and the money just ran out And we're the entire vector. And we know exactly what's coming. We're the ones who have your New Earth Starseed plans. We're the ones who were doing Fortune 100 tech back in the 90s. It's why you're looking at Elon Musk thinking that he's us. He's not. He's a Mars version. Giving all the power and all the recognition, and everybody even just thinking about it, saying their name over and over and over and over again is giving them power. And all the while, the world is trying to call us Lilith, the devil, Satan, Lucifer. Well, let's talk about that. And this whole fucking fallen angel thing, I need everyone to realize that everyone down here is a fallen angel. Everybody. Your O negative race, if you know anybody, or if you're O neg blood, you are the Elohim. You are. The Watchers didn't do such a good job. The Watchers got taken over first. What everyone needs to understand is that this Antichrist energy was a complete polarized version of Christ consciousness, which is the lowest mercurial consciousness that you can have, which basically depletes your consciousness and gives all your consciousness to one being. It's how it's set up for them. It's set up completely opposite of all the consciousness going into one funnel and then everybody getting a piece of their consciousness in order to make a giant consciousness. Well, go write that down and then do the mirror opposite of every single thing I just said. And that is what Mars, that is what a vector, that is what the vaccines, that is what in the food, in the water, and we all were under its spell. We couldn't have not been all under the spell because the spells were only being done to 6 beings this entire time that nobody knew anything about. And then the 6 beings and those 6 beings and all of their descendants are the ones that just had and got out and are still uncoiling from the most hellacious spiritual attack that anyone will ever on this plane live from. And it's all because nobody wants to do the job. Everybody wants to give it to somebody else to process the human race to make land. Your body makes land. Pelican Brief. Go watch it again. It's happening over here. I'm witnessing it. The entire lakes are drying up. The land is coming up from underneath. Lemuria is rising between Africa and Florida. But Florida is where they gridded me down into 5G and took the moon over in 2019. But what we're starting to realize now is that in 2012, December 21st, 2012, we entered into a vector. The entire human race did. And it matches up to a T of when I was turned on backwards, I was attacked, and all of the earth codes and star codes were stolen. And Obama walks in. This Venus retrograde transit that we had this year is going to be the most monumental transit probably, and it will. And I feel like it's going to go down in history as the most monumental astrology transit that the human race has ever recovered, almost like a lost treasure. It all happened in Leo. And Venus went backwards all the way to 12/12 Leo. Well, what day did I just say? December 21st, 2012. Whenever pig, you can now run all the pig in gig suits. You're it. JJ brother, Sloth, y'all want to test my abilities? See what your life ends up? You want to fuck around Gaia and the earth? You want to come over here and start shit with me? Do you want to fall in a hole and be pushed out into a dimensional vector? Do you want the entire dragon order to do spells on you? You want to come tell me what happens to you? Keep it up. We're done with your bullshit. How dare you come over here? I deplete your gravity field, pig. Do you know what a pig is? Do you know why you're not supposed to eat swine? Because the Russian programs that made the gig suits that make you fat, that are Wi-Fi suits, that is a body that gets put on you through a spiritual and on entire lines, entire descendant lines, so that all you retards will magnetize to us so that you think you're smart. But then the pig is the one that becomes cancer. The pig is the one that is rolling everybody's mercurial mind from their gig suit that they didn't sign up for, that was all made by a Russian program wherever they've got a family with a Nikki, a Shelly, and a Deborah. And you're raised in a house with a family like Cinderella, where one of them is treated like a superstar, but you're dragged out of your bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and hosed down with a water hose and told that you're a pig over and over and over. That's how it got started in the 80s, to make your gig suits. Russian mind control spells on the dark side that none of you have any idea about, but you're all about to learn, because we's from the future. We tried to stop it, but you're over here doing shit like this to me right now, so let it be done. I'm so connected into source. Trust me, we don't have an energy problem. It's more like I'm having to control myself right now. We control all darkness. We control the undercurrents. That's why you no longer have a devil or a Satan. There never was one that had more power than us. All they did was cut the human race off from us and turn the human race against us in order to take control and pull heaven to hell. That's all it took. You're in a bubble with a bunch of conscious, healed beings that are taking advantage of every bit of the healing that all of us that worked our ass off to give it to them. And now what's happening is they're not being able to hold their charge. Nothing's happening. They have no power. They have no gifts. They have no looking glass. It's all falling down because we all birthed out of it and we're exploding out of the cosmos. And in order for us to not complete, I mean, this, we're about to have millions of people just fall into the goddamn ocean. And it didn't have to happen. It didn't have to happen. But this bullshit, like what's going on right here with Piggy and the Indian motherfuckers that want to still come around to me up until last night, trying to use telecom lines, trying to put magic on us. Do you want a home? Do you want ground? Do you want oxygen? What is it that you're trying to gain by coming over here and talking shit to me? If you don't like what I have to say, then go somewhere else. It's real fucking simple. What is inside you that thinks that you have the right to come over here and say something to me, disregarding what I'm talking about? I don't care if you think I know or not. What gives you any type of right to come over here and say some bullshit to any of us when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about? You don't know what I'm talking about. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, what gives you the right to come over here and voice your opinion to me? I've proven who the fuck I am. Problem is you don't know it. That's not my problem. If you'd come over here and support me instead of doing that shit, maybe your government would say something. Maybe you wouldn't get jailed. One of y'all's going to jail. I see bars. Cages, actually. We came from the future, but sure, we don't know what's going to happen next. We came from the future and we risked everything. We lost everything. We lost our children. We lost our money. We lost our homes. We had to sell everything. Every single one of the 144,000 have nothing right now. You can't get into a new dimension with all the old shit, can you? Who's helping us? All the money that's going to Israel and Palestine and all that bullshit, it should be coming right here. None of that's even there. That's your boneless infrastructure that's falling. No, all that money should be coming over here to all of us because we know, number one, how to make more money with it. Number two, we know how to elevate the land with it. We understand what the current is, and we have all the new earth infrastructures. But sure, send it to the dead Arabs that were sitting on top of a pyramid and trying to do spells on the whole fucking world to the point that you got floating islands that are submarines out there and everybody's trying to figure out how an island's floating and moving around. No, you dumbass, it's on a fucking submarine and everything's been being run down here from undercurrents and they're 144,000. Well, we's locked on bases all over the fucking world. That's why you don't know who we are. Experimented on, cut open, sawed open. How the fuck do you think we can do all the shit that we can do? You think it just happened overnight? You think telepathy just happened overnight? No. You think human consciousness just happened overnight? No. You think resurrection and the ability to resurrect humans and the ability to resurrect yourself just happened overnight? If you can do that, do you think you do it by yourself? No. Hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years of experiments of death and after-death timelines. That's what made that. That's why you can't abuse it. If you abuse it, you get radical karma. Thank you. Thank y'all for being, thank you. Thank you. There's so many of us. There's so many of us that are down here. I just happen to be the most ancient one. I can't believe it either. I'm really coming out right now of like a PTSD. It's like I'm just now coming out of and being resurrected completely from that Mars vector. And at the same time that I feel finally I'm not
I'm not hearing everything. I'm not inside a small top of a pyramid anymore to where I'm having to quantum energy everything. But then all at once, as we're coming out of it, we're seeing why we were sent there and why you had a Lucifer and a fallen angel this whole time. And I've told this story many times because this is the archangels. And whenever, I mean, this was all even a mission and a Hail Mary, we called it, in order to come back here to even give you Christ and Jesus, in order to save the human race. If we wouldn't have been able to pull off the new bloodline, nothing would have existed. Everything would have ended and died. So for all of us, we have fought and fought and fought and fought, and we didn't have a choice. We didn't have a choice. We didn't have a choice. Every single time we left our house to go on missions the past 3 years, every single one of us thought that we'd never come back. We didn't have a choice. We were the only ones that could pull this off. And we had to keep going. No matter what fell in our wake, we had to keep going with the resistance of the entire fucking human race and a phonetic spell that attacked us in a simulation the whole time. And realize that what I'm crying about is not myself. I'm crying because all of you and the ones that don't know what's happening and that don't have the connections we have are all feeling that right now. And I just command that our voices get to them and they find us so that we can tell them what's happening, so that we can help, so that we can start working together as a human race to balance this star as we go through a cosmic reset. It's not hard. It's really fucking easy. And actually, it's pretty damn fun when you're not having to fight the world. Lucifer had the reptilian DNA. I had the reptilian DNA. It's the only difference that is the difference between Michael and Gabriel. Gabriel was basically the hybridized version, and he was my father, but he was a super soldier. He was made down here. All of us were made down here in labs from the dark side and injected into this simulation. It's not difficult to understand. When you really start to realize how the universe and land and how things are formed from humans. Humans are the key. The key is the human. Well, key was the earth. Key was known as the earth. So if the earth becomes non-human, then what does everybody become? Non-human. That's why in 2019, when they fed me the AI, I had to drink both. I had to drink both. So realize even in and of itself that Gaia became two different beings, the Gemini twin, one in a vector, supporting the entire human race on a vector and pharma and blah, 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 blah. The other being the most ancient piece in the cosmos birthing. And this is how we even had double timelines. This is how we pulled this off.
But everybody that was attached to me, everybody that was in my line, you got a dose of AI too. That's why we were able to even exist in the vector and at least be able to pull off getting back into our bodies when those two timelines merged. If we wouldn't have had both, we wouldn't have been able to get back. This is what set up the entire twin protocol. This is even what set up entertainment industry. This is how it was being made and how it managed the world for so long. This is what the mirror dimensions are. It was DNA rebirthing in a vacuum. This was the lowest plane. This was the lowest realm. And it's a miracle, in fact, that humans were able even to exist in a society and even run anything in the level of density that it ended up in days. Because the density was basically as if at the bottom of the ocean and in a small bubble. Well, that bubble blew. And now that little bitty hole that it's at the bottom of the ocean that used to hold a little crab shell underneath it is now the source of the entire ocean. And that is how we have powers and gifts. And that is why we're here, because we can affect a lot and balance a lot connected in to a network of humans. And the more that are in our network, the more we can balance it and keep it balanced and sustain an energetic current without having to be the only one doing it. The quicker that we have more, that we give this and understand who we are and why we're here, then the quicker that these little attacks and this bullshit that they're sending to only a few of us, because realize they're not doing it to us because of us. They're doing it in order to change all of you. I mean, I'm pretty sure that they've realized now that any of these ritual spells, because they've been doing them for 4 or 5 years, they know that it's not affecting us. We're getting out of it. We're able to clear. We've got all the connections. It's like throwing mud on something and praying that it becomes plaster Paris. Plaster Paris, see? We're gonna get out of it. Now, everyone else that's connected to us, I think, is what it's affecting the most. And that's why they keep doing it. But it is what it is at this point, because everybody's on their soul mission. Everybody's got to learn. Everybody has to experience whatever is fixing to happen to the whole world. It is what it is. You're the only one who can change it. All of us who have lived through tribulation, we can't change it. Only you can. You have to change your vibratory frequency. You have to align with the higher timeline. You have to realize that you don't know shit and understand the only reason that I know everything that I know is because I realized a long time ago that I didn't know shit. The quicker that you realize that you don't know, that what you think you know, you were wrong. The quicker that you can really get into that space, then the faster you'll figure out what's going on. Period. And I'm going to get off right now because I don't even know what the hell I've been channeling and saying over here. I just know I'm feeling it from the depths of my core. And I usually never, ever get like this because I'm Earth and I feel it.
And what's so crazy about how this all happens is this change could happen, and we don't even know. Just like December 12th, 2021, I mean, we didn't wake up one morning and go, oh shit, we're all in a vector. No. How many years did it take to figure that out? 11. And a shit ton of clearing and a shit ton of us getting out of sacrifice, because whenever you're sacrificed and you're put all these death spells on you, guess what happens to you? You get all the evil sent to you. You do. It don't mean you're gonna die. If your name was put into an earth sacrifice, oh no, you can't die. You're here. It's just all the evil gets sent to you. Then eventually, and this is what happened in all the other timelines, in the last 100 or so years, all the ones that were channeling information like me went nuts. They went crazy. That's what they were hoping that would happen to us now. But we were too strong. We had already mended everything. We were working together. We had each other. We had faith. And our timelines were holding. When you do timeline magic for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years at a time, which is what these sorcerers were doing and have been doing for the past thousands of years. And every single time that you do it, it works. So realize that when you do timeline magic and consciousness to an entire race of beings, then you basically are dictating and saying what's going to happen next. And your mind patterns form because you're doing it with a team of people over time. And if your timeline isn't the one that sticks, guess what? You go insane. Your mind map isn't even going to match. It overlays. You become a split personality. You lose your shit. Sybil much? That's what always happened to our lines. But we were the organic beings bringing in God consciousness to ascend the world. The evil motherfuckers that were making up their own damn story just according to whatever they decided, because that's not how the ascended works. That's not how the organic works. That's not how the rituals that were done onto us, that's why they were done, in order to stop an organic evolution. Well, this time they're losing their cookie cutter. And we're in the middle of the throes of that right now. And this time, it's so massive, the level of consciousness, because we're dealing with a 1,000,000-year reset, and we're dealing with over 40,000 years of laboratory, multiverse, all the different earths, all the different beings, all the different, because the DNA, they had resurrected dinosaurs. They had resurrected Pablo Escobar. I mean, Jesus Lord, you don't even want to know. You really don't. But everybody's about to see, because also if you don't have a body and if you're not recognizing with your Christ codes, this is the time when people are going to start turning into weird shit. Indians and Middle Easterns, you fucked over the empress. You fucked over your empress. You allowed your a soul, whatever. I don't know. But y'all, something's fixing to happen. I don't know. It's probably already happening to your bodies as a race. I don't know. Are you going to grow a tail? Are you not going to have a dick? I don't know. Shit like that. Because you no longer are in a bubble that's holding open and holding your human form. There's no skeletal structure for your cells to even attach to, because the way you live and what you're doing is so out of line. And because whether you realize it or not, the race of your people is the main reason this is all happening. So you're going to get attacked for it.
And you're going to get attacked as a race of beings in hopes that each one of you will figure out what's going on and individually pull yourself out of it when shit starts going down. But realize that what I'm telling you is exactly what happened to all of us around 2012. We no longer could eat wheat. We were getting sick from the food. We were gaining 20 and 30 pounds and had a horrible reaction every time we ate any type of wheat. This was your gluten stuff. All of us were getting fibromyalgia. We were getting pain all over our bodies. All of it happened at once. The whole human race changed. We had to pull ourselves out of it. And we had to go walk it. And that's what solar ascension is. And so the prayer is that as it starts happening to the races, then each one of the beings will start realizing how to and be shown how all of us got out and how what these clearings are so that they can individually start saving themselves and then gradually make another consciousness somewhat similar in a group as to ours in the 144 in order to pull the rest out. But it's not, it has nothing to do with us anymore. In fact, it's looked at, whatever needs to happen just needs to happen because us angels can't handle it anymore. And still to this day, everyone's still attacking. A bunch of people are attacking me from India, all your technical people, because they know my energy. It's all been run by starseed physics. They know. They've been watching it. I'm the one that they've been spying on in the pyramid. I was the Anunnaki princess. I was the one in the top of the fucking core. You can trust that everywhere that there is a leader that's from the dark side that nobody wants to tell you about, somehow it's me. And I'm fucking sick of it. And I'm done with it because it's not who we are. It's not who we are anymore. That's what we cleared. That's why we had to clear it. What they didn't expect is that for all of us as a race down here to clean our souls and birth a new soul. It's the only thing that saved us. It's what we did. And I'm so fucking proud of us. I am. We hold no judgment. We know that there is no evil versus good. We understand how this works now, and that love and compassion is the only thing that can change anything in this energy. And it's only because the only things that were ever changing it were hate and evil. It's universal law. But we cannot sit in your oil anymore as a bright ball surrounded by nothing but an oil pit, which is what it was. We can't do it anymore. I command the ascended human race come together. I command everybody find the doomsday seeds, make a group, call and contact us, and we all start working together, and we form our own name of a United Nations, whatever we want to call it. And I command that we get funding, and I command that we start traveling to the areas that God and the consciousness and the spirit is pulling, and the earth and the land is pulling us to in order to hold this motherfucker. Because I can't do it from TikTok anymore. And, you know, even the New York riot in August where we had all the kids running around there. That was me. I'm the one who got him to go over there. We had them all in New York because it was really all going down here in Texas. But that's how it's overlaid dimensionally on a 3-layer chessboard. We can't do it like that anymore. We're too powerful. We just can't. And we have to start building again. And so that's my prayer for this. Thank you for subscribing. Michelle is a big name in the stories. I have a Michelle Mim. Me and Mim are the ones who got out.
I love y'all. If you have any questions, please, you can come on to my comments after this video goes up and just ask a question. I'll answer it. There's no stupid question. We work in consciousness together, and sometimes your question is the key. And you don't realize that whenever you ask the question, and whenever I answer it, because all I'm doing is diving into Akashic Library to give you the answer. And then whenever that's posted and everybody sees it, you have no idea how many ripples we make. The consciousness is raising, we're raising, the vibration patterns are raising, the cosmos is coming back into play. I have no idea what this new earth looks like. I leave it up to y'all. It's not mine to control. And this is what I need. Just my prayer is that everyone that sees me and hears this knows that in the true forms, none of us can individually control anything as far as what comes out of it. We relinquished and surrendered that right a long time ago. It's why we're able to hold the amount of energy that we hold. But y'all have to collect because I can't hold it anymore. We can't hold it anymore. So I command that all of you command for your collections from Christ to come to you now, and from Earth, and from Gaia, and from your queens, and from your feminine side. All of us that have claimed your crowns, claimed the lineages, stacked all of us, stood on each other's shoulders. Stood on each other's shoulders to push the ones that were us up high enough in order to make this current connection. And how many of y'all were so mad because you felt like we were stealing your titles. No, we had to claim them so that we could get to the next level because you didn't. We're here to give them all back out to you. We can't hold the infrastructure anymore. It's why everything's breaking.